Barcelona 3, Alaves 1. And I can see already the difference that Raphinha makes to this Barcelona team. Welcome from the USA. I've arrived, people. And I had to watch that match pretty much at 7:15 in the morning, getting up to watch a Barcelona game. Anyway, we move. But guys, let's obviously smash the like button. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Get obviously interacting in the live chat. And we're going to absolutely summarize this game in a nutshell. Now, for me, I looked at Barcelona today, and there were things positive from the game, but there were also major negatives, and we'll get into both of them essentially, because a lot of Barcelona fans, I think they will be upset impartially for that game, but also quite excited as well to see Raphinha. And I'm going to just say it right now. I can see Barcelona definitely scoring 100 goals this season. Definitely see Barcelona scoring 100 goals. Look, they're going to get maybe a goal against them in the majority of the games. But like last year, you're going to just call it as it is. They're going to get that goal tally. They're scoring almost 3 goals a game. Some of them are going to be 4, 5s here and there. And they are going to get that target. And Raphinha is the biggest difference maker to this team. Because I'm going to give you an example. When he was playing, obviously, in the very first half, before he came off to be substituted for Rashford, the press is different, people. The press is completely different when Raphinha's there. He's all over the pitch. And he is the main instigator for a lot of the pressing maneuver that Barcelona does. So, if you don't have Raphinha there, then there's an issue. A huge issue. And I look at it and I can see Raphinha when he's diverting the attention away from the defenders, trying to press them at every instance, trying to give them second guesses essentially on themselves, because then it allows Yamal to come in. Sometimes Yamal snatching the ball away from the midfielders, sometimes Lewandowski snatching the ball, Olmo as well, who had a good performance today, scoring 2 goals, which we will get onto. But Raphinha is the main difference. And I look at the goals, of course, guys, you know I do, but Raphinha is completely a difference maker. And when Pedri also came on as well, you saw that the control in midfield. So I would say Pedri and Raphinha, as much as Yamal is, and as much as Yamal had a great game today, in portions of it, I think Raphinha is the main player. And we've seen that the press is non-existent when Raphinha's not there. He is part of Hansi Flick's plans. He is the main guy that needs to be involved in this Barcelona squad in the build-up. That run that he made to slot it back into the middle for Barcelona to tuck away that goal was absolutely sensational. He duped the defender. He went one way, then went the other way quickly. Those are the kind of runs that you don't see Rashford making. Rashford's just a straight runner. Raphinha's got a bit more intelligence about him. So when you're looking at the goal score today and how Barcelona's build-up contributed to it as well, look, they have a habit of just scoring goals. You can score as many as you want against them, especially in La Liga. I'm not talking about the Champions League here. I don't think Barcelona will go anywhere in the Champions League. I'm going to be honest. After getting beaten by PSG, after getting beaten by Chelsea resoundingly, look, I don't think they will go anywhere. Neither with Real Madrid. I'm going to speak as facts. Real Madrid won't go anywhere either. Barcelona won't. But in La Liga, this whole season, this time, is a domestic competition between both Real Madrid and Barcelona. It's only domestic, guys. There's nothing else. It's all going to be about La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Super Cup. Who's going to win all 3 trophies? Or who's going to win one and the other one win the other 2, or whatever, or vice versa. Now, Raphinha is the main part of Barcelona's team. And he's the one that's going to propel them forward to get these goals. Because of his press, because of his natural ability, because of his just kind of crazy vision for goal. Everything about Raphinha screams he is an amazing player. And we can see that he was probably the most instrumental player for Barcelona last year in terms of his goals and assists, but also what he does often. You don't really appreciate what Barcelona do up front because their defense is shocking. Absolutely shocking. Alaves, countless times counter-attacking opportunities. The first goal that went in, a complete bozo moment from the defence, allowing the ball to ricochet into the box. Shouldn't be working, shouldn't be like that for Barcelona, let's be honest. I can speak as a Madrid fan. The defence last year was completely different and better on so many counts. So Barcelona really need to take a look at themselves, because I got to tell you what, this whole to and fro, Madrid, Barcelona winning one game, it's going to be like that for the remainder of the season. But let me just say something truthfully here, and this is to all Madrid fans. Barcelona can score the goals. They can. Madrid, on some occasions, week by week, won't score the goals. So are we going to go tic-tac-toe against Barcelona and expect them to drop points? You have to win all your games. You have to go ahead of them all the time, even if it is this two-horse race. And Barcelona, they're not going to give in, because you saw as soon as the goal went, they went one goal down. They're like, no, we're not taking this. They just instantly hit back. So that's the difference maker. That's the point I'm trying to prove. Barcelona have an easier route because of their front three. When you have Raphinha, Lewandowski and Yamal on equal wavelengths, on equal path lengths as well, every single player, Olmo playing in his natural position as well today, who performed decently today as well, obviously getting 2 goals. This is the difference maker. This is what La Liga is going to be separated by. And I just want to see Madrid turn up. They have to. They have to, honestly. And if they don't, then Barcelona are going to run away with this league. I'm going to tell you right now, Barcelona will run away, because competition isn't that great. Let's be honest, the lower league teams aren't that great. The top league teams aren't that great. So you're going to see Barcelona winning a lot of the games, and they will get the 100 goals. I've said it since the beginning of the season. They are going to get 100 goals. And we just need to be truthful here that Barcelona, in attack value, they have so much more than Real Madrid. They have goals coming from everywhere. They can have goals coming from their midfield as well. We do as well in terms of Bellingham, that's fine. But look, when you have Olmo scoring, you can have Raphinha scoring, you have Yamal scoring, you have Lewandowski scoring, you can have any one of these players scoring, even Pedri sometimes on an occasion when he gets into full flow. They're sharing the goals around, and they're going to be like this continuously. Yeah? So any team in La Liga won't have a chance against Barcelona unless it's Real Madrid. Look, Barcelona's match upcoming against Atletico Madrid, that's the difference maker. That's the match that's going to make the difference between this La Liga season. I'm telling you right now, these Atletico Madrid ties, they're going to make huge difference. Yeah? So the defense is shocking. I've got to say, like, when you look at the defense and you look at Kubasi's like completely a fish out of water. Bernal was dreadful in some occasions. And I was mentioning in the Football Chaos group, like Chema Andres, who gone off to Stuttgart. I think he's personally better than Bernal. I've got to say, Chema Andres is a silky smooth player. Bernal sometimes looks very clunky, very static, very bad on a half turn. Like, he is a not suitable for Barcelona. Barcelona play this very direct, very, very quick football. Yeah, so it's going to be a situation where Bernal, I don't think he will ever get a starting place in this Barcelona squad. They think probably he's going to be the next Busquets. He's nowhere near that level. Nowhere near, or the next Rodri, for example. Nowhere near that level. Like, I got to say it, man. I got to say it. The second half of the season is going to be the difference maker. That second half where Real Madrid have all these string of away games against decently tough teams, that's going to be the difference maker. And we need to see it happening, because we need to see Real Madrid pump these teams, but they won't. We know they won't. Barcelona are the goal scorers in La Liga. They are the goal scorers. You can't deny that. They're going to be the guys that's going to be scoring goals till their heels, honestly, they're just going to be firing all cylinders. You can take away the Champions League. None of the teams in Spain will do anything in the Champions League this year. We can guarantee that. Look at the performances as of recent. None of the teams in Spain are going to do anything in the Champions League. We know that off by heart. So both of these teams, Barcelona and Real Madrid, they're going to be competing with each other. I want to see, obviously, certain people in the chat. Let me know in the comments down below who were your standout candidates for today. Mine, I'm going to say right now, I think Raphinha, Yamal, of course, the obvious Olmo. Look, Olmo got his goals. They're always going to give him high ratings because of his goals. Fine. But I think Yamal and Raphinha on the wings were extra dangerous. They always looked like they were going to create something. They always looked like they were going to drive into traffic, create opportunities, beat the last man. Everything about them too on the wings is sensational. And you can't really have Yamal without Raphinha. Likewise, you can't really have Raphinha without Yamal. They're both kind of to and fro with each other. They know what they're doing. They know how their press works. They know how to regain possession when they can. And that is what Barcelona do, especially from the wings. Lewandowski is the guy in the middle. He's a classic number 9. You're going to expect him to be making it dangerous for everyone. So it's a decent performance from Barcelona, but let's not pull the wool over your eyes. The defense is still shocking. Like, I don't even know what Hansi Flick does sometimes and what he says to the defense, but especially on the outside, the width of the park, you see Alaves, they were consistently creating from the width. They were trying to drive into traffic. They were trying to create 1-2s, bypass the last defender, and then create overloads in certain areas. And that's what they did. Jean Garcia with a miraculous save. Miraculous. And Jean Garcia, another big difference maker in this team. You can see why he's so important in Barcelona. And we just need to realize that Barcelona, for all their brilliance up front, they're going to struggle defensively. And against teams like Betis away, which is coming up, against teams like Villarreal away, which is coming up, that's going to be tough. It's going to struggle. They're going to struggle, but they will get the goals. That's my opinion on it. I think they will get the goals. They will try and outscore. And the commentator said it so perfectly at the end when I was watching the match. He said that you can score, but we'll outscore you. And that's what Barcelona's motto is. They're just full out attack. They don't really care about the defense. I think Hansi Flick knows this deep inside. He's assessed these defensive capabilities without Inigo Martinez. He's assessed the whole back line. He's assessed the midfield shape at the moment. Because when you're playing with Casado and you're playing with Olmo and you're playing with Bernal, it's not really the best, is it? Let's just be honest on that one. You're going to have Pedri, who came on obviously later on, fine. You're going to have your players like De Jong. You're supposed to have your players like Fermin Lopez or Olmo, whatever. And you have to look at it like this. It's that the midfield, they don't really track back. You see Pedri maybe doing a bit of tracking back in there because he's more of a complete all-rounder midfielder. But apart from that, who's going to do the defensive duties? You're expecting Casado to have a game ahead of De Jong or whatever. This doesn't make sense. You're going to have De Jong there with Pedri because they're like two peas in a pod, essentially. They go well with each other. So I think personally that Barcelona, they're going to struggle big time defensively. They may score 100 goals, but they'll probably concede like 40 this season. You know? They're probably seen like 40 this season. So it is pretty drastic stuff from Barcelona, and it's getting to the point where they're going to have to play like this for the remainder of the season. They're going to have to play this attacking football. They're probably going to have to play this drastic kind of, oh, okay, I don't care how many goals we score, we'll just literally score more. That's what it is. So we need to look at it and say that Real Madrid, they have a great chance of winning La Liga, but they just need to get the results. Real Madrid is going to try to be the 3-point merchants this season. Doesn't matter how many results they get bad, they'll get the 3 points. Barcelona, they're going to get the goals and they're going to get the 3 points as well. So if you look at it on the balance of things, you're probably outweighing Barcelona's chances because they will get the goals, but Real Madrid will struggle. I'm telling you right now, Real Madrid will struggle in more matches than Barcelona this season. I'll tell you why. Because in the hardest matches, in the kind of 0-0s, when it's just going to get down to the ending, the wire, then Real Madrid will struggle in those matches. We saw in Getafe, and we saw at the end of Getafe. We saw in Vallecano. We saw in the last match as well that there's problems, major problems. And look at Elche, how they played against us. Those kind of teams can really hurt Real Madrid because of the midfield shape and how we structure ourselves. Will they hurt Barcelona? Yes. But will Barcelona get the goals in reverse? Yes. That's the main problem. I think Barcelona going down 1-0 today really gave them the driving force to just say, okay, let's go and smack up this team. They didn't really batter them, but what they did is that they were comprehensive and professional in certain moments when they needed to be. Yamal had a godforsaken chance to put them ahead even more when I think it was a 1-2 interchange with Lewandowski, 1-2, and Yamal goes rounds the keeper and he hits her in the post. Like, those chances, Yamal should be tucking away, let's be honest. Yamal should be tucking away those chances. So, look, Madrid, games like Girona, which is coming up, mad. Games like Bilbao away, coming up, mad. These games are horrendous for Real Madrid. Because I can see Girona, even though they're positionally they're horrible, Girona play decent football on the pitch. These are the kind of teams that I could say really can harm Real Madrid. Teams that can really keep possession in the midfield, that can bypass the midfield, can bypass the whole defensive structure. Those kind of teams are most dangerous to Real Madrid because we don't have the midfield shape itself, essentially, to really counteract those teams. We could do it in terms of the front end press, which is fine. We can beat the press. We can actually instigate it ourselves on the front. But unfortunately, when you look at it in the match, watch Girona. They're going to have large spells of possession as well. They're going to try and keep the ball. They're going to try and keep it nice and tidy. And that's where we'll suffer. But we'll beat Girona. I know we'll beat Girona. I already said it. I already said it into Will that we're going to beat Girona like 4-5-1. Because Girona defensively, they're shocking. They leak goals like crazy. So that's their problem. And Madrid against Bilbao, that's going to be a tougher ask. Because when we go to Bilbao and going to the Basque region of Spain, I tell you what, that kind of hostility from that region is going to send another different waves, another shockwave to Real Madrid. Because we saw the Olympiacos game. The Olympiacos game is trash. And however trash Olympiacos are, Bilbao are still better than them. So we need to think, we need to pull our head out of the sand completely, because Barcelona, they're always going to be on this form. They're always going to score goals. They're always going to make it look like they're just hungry for goals. And I see Barcelona hungrier for goals than Real Madrid. I hope Vinny turns out like he did against Olympiacos. I hope Mbappe does and they can get their goals. But in some matches, it won't work like that. This is a different ball game. Sometimes when you go to Champions League and you play these dud of teams, you can get the goals. But in La Liga, you may find teams very stubborn defensively. You won't get the goals and the game will just fizzle out. And you'll just be playing sideways, backwards football for literally 90 minutes without no end game. So that's the problem, you see. Let me read a few of the comments, guys, that you can see. I'm in America, so I don't have my equipment if the camera is looking a bit less quality. That's the thing. I've lost about 6 kilos in a week and a half, guys. I'm feeling much better. I've got to try and tell you about this diet online. It'd be crazy. But let's go and let's view comments, guys. Penalties is what saved Madrid season so far. No, it's not. I think it's just the habit of getting 3 points. I think that's what saved Madrid. When the chips are down, sometimes they just come up with it. Yamal should have had hat-trick. Exactly. He had gilt-edged opportunities, Yamal, today, to score. It's absolutely crazy, man. We will still win La Liga. The dressing room is now sorted. That's what you think. Wait till we face a tougher team, and then we'll see if Real Madrid will win La Liga, yeah? Mad. Yeah, but what player, John Garcia? Absolutely. John Garcia is an excellent player. And when you look at him in goal and he commands the box well, you can see the difference that Jean Garcia makes than Szczesny makes. Szczesny doesn't command his box well. Szczesny is a decent shot stopper when it comes to it, but he makes bozo errors as well. But Jean Garcia doesn't make those bozo errors. Jean Garcia is willing to fight to save goals. We saw it with the amazing save that he made in the very first half. That save was just incredible. When he's down and out, literally on the floor, and man jumps up. I tell you what, and I'm going to say it right now, Jean Garcia, in this kind of mannerism and how he performs as a goalkeeper, is very, very similar to two keepers I can say that perform like this. Casillas is one of them. Casillas is always hungry to save goals, trying to get to the last goal, trying to get to it. Yeah. And another Spanish keeper that I actually, Cañizares, he was very hungry also, one of the best Spanish keepers that we've had. So honestly, it's crazy. You know, so I ultimately look at Jean Garcia, not in comparison, Casillas is well above, but look, he can get there. He can get to those heights. And Barcelona are probably going to be the team to do that, you know? So, unbelievable performance from Jean Garcia. Very, very good. Very, very solid performance from Jean Garcia. Obviously, the goal is a goal. That was crazy, but he made great saves. What a player he is, you know? And Gerard Maldini is a new meta. I don't think so, mate. I don't think so, mate. Gerard Maldini is literally this guy, bro. I tell you, he made a very good pass, though, to Raphinha. Very, very good pass. So I can definitely say that. He looks like Casillas, yeah. He does look, even on the pitch, he does look like Casillas. I think his mannerisms very, very similar. Maybe Casillas is a keeper that he admired when he was young. So who knows in that one. But let me just round off the last 10 minutes by summarizing Barcelona, guys, today, because I really wanted to see. And look, let me just talk about Yamal for a second, because look, Yamal today had a great performance. Yeah, him, Raphinha, Olmo carried the team essentially today. That's what they did. But almost with his goals, not really the play. He was decent. Olmo was decent. Let's just call it like that. But he got his goals. Yamal, this guy is, how can I say it? It's very hard to put it into words. He's so talented, so technically able, such everything, but he makes weird decisions at crucial times that could really put Barcelona in a better position, if you know what I mean. So when he's missing gilt-edged opportunities, these are the kind of opportunities that you need to score, Yamal. And his finishing will grow with time. Look at Vinny's finishing when he first came to Real Madrid. Shocking. But Yamal will grow with time, I know that. But these are opportunities that you should be scoring, even as a youngster, even at your age. You should be scoring. And when he's carrying the ball and he's trying to dribble past 4 or 5 players, I can see sometimes that almost calling for the ball next to him and he decides to dribble all the time. Like, I don't understand Yamal sometimes. He can be an excellent player. He can be one of the greats if he carries on this trajectory for Barcelona, but unfortunately, some occasions he makes really poor decisions. People can say young, he's this and that, but I'm going to be honest. He's mature enough to play in the Spain squad. In the Spain squad, he doesn't make really that bad decisions. Is it De La Fuente's coaching, maybe? Or is it Hansi Flick's coaching? Maybe Hansi Flick gives him more freedom. Maybe De La Fuente is a bit more strict. Maybe De La Fuente respects him and tries to ask him, look, you better pass in these kind of areas. He plays different. He plays similar like Barcelona and Spain, but in Spain, he's more cautious for the players around him and the build-up play. And now he can link with players in the Spain team. But in Barcelona, he has that freedom to ability to run at defenders, chase games single-handedly. And sometimes when you're down and out and you need a player to step up, Yamal can be that guy. But if he makes good decisions at critical times, he can't be a guy that's going to make these poor decisions on occasions. He makes a lot of bad decisions on a game-by-game basis. We have to admit that, guys. Maturity will come. I know that. Maturity is a big thing in football, and how you develop as a player is always going to rely to that as well. But he makes poor decisions at this age, which could affect Barcelona's results. That's the main thing. And look, in the Chelsea game, he made an excellent pass to Ferran Torres, right directly through the centre. Ferran Torres, that's the kind of good decisions that he makes. Decisions today to play with the team sometimes, but then sometimes he just goes off on his own and tries to do everything himself. Sometimes football is not played like that. And Yamal needs to understand that from his point of view to become a very, very good player. If he doesn't do that, then he will be a great, excellent player, but will never probably reach the stardom that he wants to reach. Because he talks a big game, which is fine. Every young players can do that all the time. Mbappe's done in the past. You've seen players at young ages talk big games. But sometimes you need to deliver it on the pitch with good actions. And I'm sure that Hansi Flick looked at certain chances from Yamal and saying, okay, you could have done differently here. See, Raphinha is the positive to the negative for Yamal. Raphinha, on occasions, makes better decisions because Raphinha is more mature in the game. We know that. But he makes better decisions overall. You need to understand that Raphinha is so crucial because of his ability to see a pass when it's needed, ability to run into space when it's needed. And the press, super crucial when Raphinha's on, like we say, and that allows Yamal to evolve into the press as well and really try and chase down the carrier of the ball at that specific time. Because Raphinha is pincering the player from one end and Yamal is doing the other from the other end. So that's what happened several times today in the Alaves game that allowed Barcelona to have good opportunities in transition, especially in the very final third of the pitch. So, look, it's great that Yamal's like this, but sometimes his ability tries to carry him into a different direction on the pitch. Sometimes in certain minutes, you're looking at Yamal and you're saying, okay, you're going to pass the ball here. You have 3 players around you. What are you going to do? He has a choice between running into space, driving at the defense completely, or just recycling the possession. And many occasions today, he decided to drive into defense. Like, he made a great skill initially in the very first half, if it was a nutmeg, and tried to go on the outside to the byline. It doesn't work like that. When you go into the edge of the pitch, you're not going to win. Look for space in the middle. Look for players in the middle. Then he can then develop into the game. But look, Barcelona had a decent performance today. We know they were decent in certain areas, but defense, I tell you what, they need to improve massively because there are teams that are coming up that's going to be very dangerous. Atletico Madrid being one of them, Betis away being another, and Villarreal away being another. I know the Atletico Madrid games in the new camp, probably, I think Barcelona will probably edge that. The one in the new camp, I think they're going to be better than Atletico Madrid. But Atletico Madrid would always have something with Barcelona. We've seen it every year, but they fold sometimes when they put into too much pressure from Barca. So, look, we need to look at it. We need to see what's happening. We need to understand where Barcelona stands in terms of this table. And at the moment, they're top, unfortunately. Tomorrow, Madrid play Girona. And this should be a foregone conclusion. I cannot see anything other than a win for Real Madrid. Girona leaves so much space. So you probably see Madrid going back on top. Any other thing than a Madrid win, I am going to flipping lose it. I'm going to lose it. I'm in America. I'm trying to do my work. I'm trying to do everything for this big conference that I have. Look, I'm going to be honest. Yeah? Nothing can stop me from raging at Madrid's side. Tomorrow, we better beat Girona and not allow Barcelona to get into the lead on La Liga. If they get in the lead, I'm telling you right now, if Barcelona are top tomorrow, they have about a 75% chance of winning La Liga already. Because I can't see us, I already said before, and I've said it again, and I'm going to say it countless times, we need to be 6 points clear of Barcelona by the end of the year minimum. Because of the run of games in the second half of the season. Real Madrid fans, they think by game by game. I'm more futuristic than you. Do you understand me? So I'm looking at the games next season, in the second half of the season, and saying there are teams that we played in the beginning of the season that we scraped by, and we have to play them away now. This is not a good look on Real Madrid. Look at our away game record so far. Poor. Very poor. I don't want to have the same suffering as last year. Yeah? So we need to understand where Real Madrid stand. If Barcelona go tomorrow, 2 points clear, if it's a draw, if it's a loss, yeah? I tell you what, Barcelona have a 75% chance of winning the league from now. Because it's a deadly situation to be in when Barcelona are in front of you. We need to be ahead because we're just going to be 3-point collectors. They're going to be goal scorers. They're going to collect the 3 points. They're going to do it naturally. We need to scumbag games. Real Madrid need to scumbag games because still, I don't care about the Olympiacos game, our attack is still not there yet. Olympiacos gave us so much space, so much time on the ball. Vinny was running into open spaces at times. Hopefully Vinny can do that against a defensively low block team. And maybe you'll see Girona do that in part. But tomorrow also, you're going to see Girona try and play football in the midfield also. But guys, honestly, Real Madrid tomorrow, Girona, let's see what happens. But Barcelona, 3-1, it's done, it's dusted. And we move on to the next match, guys. But guys, take care, adios, and we'll see you on another live stream. Take care, people, and peace out. Make sure you comment down below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, guys.